Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing good today. It's another hot day here in Tennessee. Excuse me. Under the copyright disclaimer, under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowances may for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is the use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. I always like to start off with Matthew 18, verse 6. But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and he were drowned in the depths of the sea. I hope everyone's having a good day. It's the midweek now. And the other day, I was had somebody on Blog Talk Radio get to know, and I brought this case into awareness, and I don't think so many people knew about the case, the Grant Solomon and Gracie Solomon story. Hey there, good to see you, Jackie. Thanks for coming. I appreciate you. Another time, I will, even though we're going over this today, there's some things that I will go over in the next couple of days, such as this governor's office pushes to dissolve commission on children and youth amid foster care woes. That's not a good. Then a lawsuit says 12-year-old repeatedly raped at Brentwood Academy. Officials ignore reports. And it's got to do also, these people and these lawsuits that I just showed, these two news articles, have something to do with this case as well. So that's why I brought that into this. I do not believe that they should even be representing our state of Tennessee or even be a judge. Here's a timeline of Gracie's and Grant's thing. And this was at freedomforgracie.com. Please look her up and support her. She's also got a YouTube channel, Freedom for Gracie, and she also has a YouTube channel that Justice for Grant. You'll understand what I'm talking about in a few minutes. Angie and Aaron, though the parents, had married in 2001 after a 6-week relationship, and with Angie pregnant with Grant, who was born in 2002. Even at this time, Aaron was abusive, sexually violating Angie and berating her constantly in 2006, when she was born. Dr. Portrell says, if you ever tell anyone about anything, I'll make sure you never see your kids again. That's something that she says that Aaron had told Angie. In 2008, infidelity, Angie discovers that Aaron is having various affairs, grooming underage girls, as well as hiring prostitutes. Angie began seeing Dr. Portrell. Angie feels she needs help due to the pain and stress she's experiencing with her marriage. She becomes Dr. Portrell's patient, but Aaron is opposed to the idea of her speaking alone to anyone. According to Angie, during that time, he would sometimes stay with her at the hairdresser's in order to hear what she was talking about. Even at that time, he demanded secrecy. Aaron ends up joining the therapy sessions in which Dr. Petrell diagnoses Angie with PTSD and Aaron with sex addiction. In January 2011, Channel 4, while he maintains that he left voluntarily, according to Angie and other sources, Aaron is forced to resign from WSMV for having inappropriate materials on his work computer and his phone. On June 18th of 2012, inheritance. Aaron's Aunt Ruth dies and leaves him a multi-million-dollar trust. This trust will start dispersing funds about a year later. With his newfound financial freedom on the horizon, his behavior starts getting more and more erratic and unpredictable. That's what money does to a lot of people. And so Angie starts seeing Dr. Michael Reed, a psychiatrist, to help her cope with her abusive husband and figure out how to get the kids and herself out of that situation safely. But since he's got money, a lot of people don't want to help. And here is the butthole right there, the child abuser with his daughter that he essayed. This is January 2013 disclosure. Then 5-year-old Gracie tells her mother that her father puts things up inside her during bath time and that it hurts. Angie's horrified. She confronts Aaron, who admits to the abuse, but tells Angie that he will take the kids away from her if she ever tells anyone. She would beg to not be bathed. Did I miss the signs? With the help of Dr. Reed, Angie begins to plan how to get herself and the kids away from Aaron safely. She takes notes about this on her phone. And this right here is per law from Hodges and Associates, LLC, July the 23rd, 2021. Aaron Myers interview. Mr. Aaron Myers blank was interviewed and he provided the following information. Mr. Myers advised that he is currently living in blank prior that he lived in Nashville, Tennessee, where he was employed by the National Fire Department as an EMT. He stated that his job was to roll out with an NFD as a firefighter and with a dual role as EMT. Mr. Myers stated that he recently had some YouTube posts about the Solomon case in Middle Tennessee. He advised that these posts jogged his memory about an incident which occurred 2013 at a residence in Green Hills. Mr. Myers advised that he remembers one evening that Station 20 NFD responded to a 911 for domestic disturbance call on Abbott Martin Road in Nashville at the residence of Aaron Solomon. He was designated as Medic 20 and he responded with the fire department. He stated that upon arrival, they noticed the Nashville Police Department was unseen and had gone inside. Mr. Myers believes that EMS with NFD went inside the house but does not know what treatment, if any, was administered. Mr. Myers stated that he never went to the house and he and his fellow firefighters remained in the front yard area. He stated that he and his colleagues had seen Aaron Solomon around this neighborhood before. Aaron had at times engaged them in conversation. He stated that Aaron always seemed cordial when they encountered him. Mr. Myers advised that they were not at this call very long. He stated that while MPD was inside with the occupants, Aaron Solomon came outside and again was cordial. He stated that Aaron told them that his wife is mentally ill and had caused the trouble. However, when Angie and the two children exited the home, Aaron's demeanor quickly changed. He became red in the face, and his facial expressions showed that he was very angry and agitated, and it was obvious that Aaron was filled with rage. He stated that he recalled that Aaron made a few steps toward Angie, but was stopped by NPD. Mr. Myers advised that Station 20 left the scene on the fire truck. He stated that he and his colleagues all remarked that we know who the instigator in this incident is, and they were referring to Aaron. Mr. Myers advised that he does not know what occurred after he had left the scene. He stated that, to the best of the knowledge, no one was transported by ambulance to a hospital. He stated that he and his colleagues all remarked, we know who the instigator is. Okay, we got all that. All right. And I had said that. Here's from Angie Solomon that was sent um, March the 16th, 2013 to Michael Reed. That was her psychiatrist. Subject: Forgery at Grace Christian Academy by Aaron Solomon. Yes, Mindy Hicks is an employee at the school administration and the mother of students who attend the school. Aaron has already admitted to me and to Mindy that he indeed forged Mindy's signature on the $1,100 check which was made to him. But as it turns out, she does not have the check signing privileges, which threw up a red flag at Pinnacle Bank. So they called the school, questioning her signature out of concern. See email below. Aaron cannot account to me for the money deposit being $850 and a missing $250. Isn't this a type of forgery a crime? It's also working late again and missing Grant's baseball game. Bizarre all the way around. And here is a picture of the check which he had done. And then now Robbie Mason tries to claim 8 years later that he did not steal the money or um, obtain funds that he was not entitled to. It's unclear whether it's true. However, he did steal the check and forge a signature. It shows how erratic and unpredictable he was at the time. So yes, he did steal. And there's from Andy. I received a phone call from a bank manager at Pinnacle Bank. She told me there was an 1,100 check that was made out to you with my signature. She told me I was not authorized to sign the checks. I explained to her that I'd never signed a GSA check before and I actually did not even write that check. She had no cause for concern. I found out that Aaron Solomon wrote the check. This goes into the principles of how he acted. On May the 9th, shortly after midnight, Aaron tries to strangle Angie with a hairdryer cord. Grant witnesses the whole thing, but at that time, neither Grant nor Angie told anyone. Grant is terrified. Grant's the older boy that now had been murdered. Angie wants to protect her son from Aaron and from having to testify in court. Aaron lies to the hospital and Angie's parents and says that Angie tried to commit suicide. So on the 10th of May, Angie takes kids to school and even chaperones a field trip. When she gets back home, Erin and her parents are waiting for her. They force her to go to the Parthenon Centennial, telling hospital staff that she had tried to commit suicide. Speaking of Dr. Murphy, Angie explains that she did not try to commit suicide. She tells him what really happened, that Aaron had abused her and that he had tried to kill her the day before. Parthenon Centennial decides to keep her overnight to protect her from Aaron and her parents. She was advised to get a restraining order against Aaron and was granted one. When Angie returns home from Centennial Parthenon, Aaron and the children are gone. She tries contacting Aaron, her parents, and her parents-in-law. None of them answer her call. She has no idea where he's taking them. On Mother's Day of May the 12th, Angie hopes that Aaron will bring the kids back home since it was Mother's Day. Instead, he calls MNPD, lies, and tells them that Angie is suicidal. When police show up, it is clear to them that she's not suicidal. They leave without taking any further action. The kids are still gone. Angie realizes that Aaron is making good on his threat. to take the children from her. And then Angie's father, Dan, upon disclosing about the abuse, I did not see that. Husbands can do whatever they want to their wives. They do not even protect from daughter. On May the 14th, when she was abused by her own father anyway, so um, that explains that a little bit. He cannot be believed anyway. On May the 14th, 2013, Angie still hasn't heard a word from Aaron, her parents or in laws, about where her kids are and is very worried about at that point. She calls the West Precinct. They seem to take her complaint seriously until a higher up gets Aaron on the phone. Angie would later revoke the restraining order due to the pressure from Aaron and her father. They promised her if she lifted the restraining order, she would get to see her kids again. Wow. It's, exactly. And the judges and everything like that is going along with it, with the school, the church that he attends. They're helping cover for him. And there's this Judge Johnson that's a part of covering up for it too, and then ends up getting. And Governor Bill Lee is affiliated with all this, and so is State Senator Jack Johnson, that's married to the Judge Johnson. This is horrible. Mental health records from Parthenon Pavilion at Centennial Medical Center dated May 10th through May 11th. These mental health records indicate that Dr. Solomon was seen at Centennial Medical Center for suicidal ideation. The record indicated that her stay was less than 24 hours. The psychiatric evaluation noted that Dr. Solomon was brought in by the paramedics and accompanied by her husband and her parents. The note indicated that staff admitted her out of caution despite the confusing presentation of abuse versus suicide attempt. The note suggested that Dr. Solomon was likely in an abusive relationship with her husband. It also indicated that she was likely mistreated as a child by her parents. The admitting physician, Michael Murphy, MD, according to the chart, spoke with Dr. Solomon's outpatient psychiatrist, who stated that the plan was to move Dr. Solomon out of the house safely and obtain a divorce. The chart indicated that Dr. Solomon did not appear to have signs of depression and she was not voicing suicidal ideations. The chart indicated that the outpatient psychiatrist confirmed that the patient has not had a previous suicide attempt. The admitting physician documented it does not appear that there is any evidence that the patient tried to hang herself. I do not believe she is in an acute mood state that would lead to suicide. She is admitted with a diagnosis of major depression in remission and given a global assessment, a function score of 65. In the hospital course of the discharge summary, it is noted that the patient was telling the truth about the situation and that she was in a risky situation with her husband, who appeared to possibly be volatile and violent. Although this was uncertain, the patient's parents, who appeared to be unreliable sources of information, it's noted that Dr. Solomon was calm and cooperative with the assessment and admission process. The chart indicated that Dr. Solomon was not started on new medication. She was discharged on the same outpatient medication schedule, which, and with her being Dr. Solomon, I have to tell you, she she's a pharmacist, the doctor of pharmacology. Excerpt from the Centennial Medical Center's report: the patient was telling the truth. Okay, and so in mid-May, Gracie graduates kindergarten at GESA, which is that school that's allowing these pedophiles to be raping our kids. They are allowing it and telling the parents they need to just hush, but I'll get to that in a little while. In despair, Angie contacts her friend, who is a lawyer. Together, they're able to find that Aaron has filed for divorce and that he has also filed an order of protection against Angie on behalf of himself and their children. So he got her to drop the protection order, making her look crazy. And now he ends up putting a protection order against her so that she can't see the kids. See how that liar changed it around? Aaron returns to the home and brings Angie's parents and the children with him. And he pressures Angie, telling her that if she behaves according to expectation, he and the children would stay. On May the 27th, Donut Den, Aaron tricks the kids into getting in a car. At 5 a.m., he lies and tells them they're going to get apple fritters for their mom. He then takes them off, taking the kids with them. They drove to Donut Den, gets donuts, but then Aaron did not take the route back home. When Grant realized that Aaron wasn't driving back home, he tried to jump out of the car. Aaron grabbed Grant's wrist so hard he thought it was broke, Gracie said in her video statement. This Judge Smith right here, he's one of the bad judges there. One of the bad judges. He wasn't the judge that I was talking about that's married to a state senator. It's a different one, too. Aaron and Angie appear before Honorable Judge Philip E. Smith for divorce hearings. Aaron is represented by David Scott and Michael Parsley. Angie by Joni Abernathy. Aaron also gets Angie's father to testify against her. D. Scott Parsley tricks Angie's sister into giving a statement. 4 months after the continuous hearing and Judge Smith's decision not to believe Angie or the medical experts who testified in her favor, yet, see, there's medical evidence right there. And he chooses not to believe it. Just like in my case with my divorce, the judge said that the medical records were inadmissible as evidence of abuse. He did not want to hear them. He ruled them out. How stupid is that? That was my way to prove that my husband abused me. Crazy. These people are crazy. Aaron's attorney, D. Scott Parsley, donates $1,000 to Judge Smith's campaign. This is even more curious considering that Judge Smith ran unopposed in both the primary and general election that year and never ever held any campaign events. I'm going to try to remember his name, Judge Philip Smith, okay? 7th of October, Angie undergoes a forensic mental health examination that was court ordered by Judge Smith, who also chose which doctor to send her to. Angie gets sent to Dr. Freeman, who later writes a report that agrees with Doctors Reed and Portrell. He says Angie is a loving, caring, and capable mother. Judge Smith then dismisses the report he asked for from the expert he trusted for no good reason. He did not like their answer. He didn't like the fact that she was proven to be capable. He didn't like the fact that she was non abusive, that she was in her right mind. He didn't like that, so he ended up throwing out his own order. Yeah, and so is the judges and everything else. They're very manipulative like this, too. Because remember, he ended up getting an inheritance, too. Aaron did. On the 16th of October 2013, resolved Angie hasn't seen her children since June the 21st. Wow. She doesn't know what to do anymore, so she writes an email to her counselor. At that point, she resolved to document all the ways in which Aaron has hurt, abused, and manipulated her and the children. She realized this would be very important if she wanted people to believe her and get her kids back. Yes, Your Honor, it's a problem that Angelia, would lie to Dr. Freeman like that. That's what Scott Parsley, Aaron's lawyer, upon being asked about Dr. Freeman's report. Yeah, right. Gracie's eyes after staying with her father for 6 months. Look at this poor kid. Look at her. Wow. In February 2014, Aaron lets kids see their mother again for the first time since June 2013. Then in November, Gracie tells her mother that Aaron is still sexually abusing her. Gracie's the little girl, remember? So Gracie tells her mother that Aaron is still sexually abusing her, that her own daddy is still sexually abusing her. At this time, he only allows Angie to see the kids during sports events. Gracie is allowed to sit with her mom during the basketball game. She tells Angie that her father put soap inside of her and that it stings. Angie is horrified, but knowing that Aaron will deny everything, she grabs her phone and reports a snippet of the conversation. Yep. Look at her nose and everything. Aaron refuses to let the kids see their mother for Christmas. Gracie and Grant are devastated, especially considering that this is the second Christmas they don't get to spend with their mother. She looks like she's all bruised up and everything, don't it? Wow. During the family trip, Gracie manages to FaceTime her mom without Aaron noticing. She shows her mother bruises on the inside of her thighs, but does not remember how she got them. See the bruise on her thighs, her inner thigh right there in this picture right here? Look at that bruise. But she don't remember how she got them. Aaron told her they were a rash from her swimming suit. Yeah, right. Remember, he's been giving her something to drink before she goes to bed, so he probably drugged her. Aaron has Angie thrown in jail over Easter weekend to stop her from talking about his abuse of Gracie. Officially, Aaron had a warrant issued against Angie for failure to pay child support, even though he had just received a large amount of money from his great aunt's trust, but in reality, it was about pressuring her to stay silent. After Angie gets thrown in jail, she's terrified and doesn't know what to do. She and the children spent over 2 years from April of 2015 to early 2018 trying their best to appease Aaron and keep each other safe. During this time, Aaron had complete control over the children and Angie's life. And there's his Facebook. Somebody wrote, "Great job with the GCA basketball season. Your posts have been fantastic. I can't believe how your children are grown. I'm so excited about this new challenge starting February 28th. I just had to send you info since sign-up's just open." And this is this awesome lady is helping a lot of people find answers to their health problems through Plexus. So proud of you, Patty. Congratulations for making silver. And I know your friends and family that are in. Okay, so during the entire time from February 2018 to May, Patty constantly messages Angie trying to get her to join Plexus. It says, "Congratulations on Super Silver." So it goes, whatever. I'm going to go back over here and here. So right here, there's Patty Tremblay, Laurie Ellsworth, and Bill Woodard. His parents. Okay. And May the 4th, yes, 2018, at Chili's, probably made out his wife was a stable, creepy narcissist. He's a bad narcissist. And then all these other people, um, you're to hear an interview that was done after Grant was killed and stuff. And like, they need to just drop it. It's like with the, so they're talking about, like I said on this other thing right here, they're talking about getting away with these programs that not CPS, but these other programs that try to advocate for children. Bill Lee's part of this, and so is that governor. Governor Bill Lee and that stupid Jack Johnson dude that's covering and not wanting to do anything about it, the state senator. They want to do with a right from us people advocating to help children. Like these little people, were advocacy centers for child abuse. They want to do away with all that. Something majorly is wrong with that. Angie meets Patty Tremblay and Lori Ellsworth for lunch at Chili's. Both are members of Grace Chapel and sell Plexus products. Patty wanted Angie to sell Plexus under her. Angie explains that she can't sell Plexus because she has to focus on the safety of her children and the other children at school. She shares how Erin is privately messaging young girls and says she plans to contact the school or the police. Angie further opens up about the abuse in the family. She is determined in her next course of action. Patty and Laurie are horrified. They call Bill Woodard, who joins the lunch, learns about what Erin is doing, and prays for Erin to drop dead. Angie, did not know you could pray that kind of prayer? And it said Bill Woodard, director of campus safety, says he will talk to Deanna Johnson about it. Deanna Johnson is the judge who just kept letting everything go. And there's more to her in a little bit, so I'll just leave it at that till we get to that. Judge Deanna Johnson attends Grace Chapel with her husband, State Senator Jack Johnson, and Governor Bill Lee. That's what I've been saying, y'all. Woodard later calls Angie to tell her that Johnson said she can only help us if her file comes across her desk. Angie trusts Bill Woodard and follows his advice to file for dependent neglect. When the case eventually lands before Judge Johnson, she doesn't recuse herself despite this conflict of interest. No, and she should recuse herself because she's going to that church where her Angie's husband's going to. Patty tells Angie that the GCA headmaster, Robbie Mason, won't do anything about this and that GCA, that's the Christian Academy, and the campus were controlled by Steve Berger. So instead, Angie contacts her friend Williamson County Sheriff Jeff Long. The sheriff invites Angie to come to his office later that day. She lets Patty know she's going, and Patty offers to go with her as a friend for support. Patty then suggests a meeting with Steve Berger and Grant to discuss the abusive situation on the family. Patty was Steve's personal assistant at the time, and having access to his calendars said she could make it happen. According to Grace Chapel, Steve Berger and Grant met 4 days later. Sheriff's Office's report corroborates Angie's story. No members of the church are mentioned in the report, and it also confirms that Angie only reported Erin grooming young girls via social media. In a follow-up call 18 days later, Angie gives background information about the abuse in the family to a detective. Then Angie meets with Jeff Long, who at that time was the sheriff at Williamson County Sheriff's Office, initially telling him only that she was afraid for the safety of GSA students due to Erin's grooming behavior. Patty being there will later be misconstrued by Grace Chapel as an employee of theirs calling police and taking Angie. However, according to Angie, she initiated contact with Jeff Long and Patty merely came along as an acquaintance. Jeff Long eventually assigns Tamika Sanders to the case. Lieutenant Sanders quickly realized that there's much more to the case than just Erin's inappropriate contacts with Grace Chapel students. She opens an investigation, and when she realizes that he is also sexually abusing Gracie, she schedules a forensic interview at Davis House, a child advocacy center. And see, that's what they want to get rid of. They want to get rid of the child advocacy centers. See what I'm saying? What's wrong with this picture, people? Here's Jeff Long. Hi, Jeff. This is Angie Solomon. Hope you and your wife are well. The kids and I are in Williamson County. I need to speak with you urgently, please. I fear for my children's lives and the children at their school. Could you possibly meet with me today? See how they lied about it? They says that she just contacted him and just about the Grace Christian Academy children. But no, she actually says in this message right here, there's some proof behind the pudding here. I fear for my children's lives and the children at the school. It says, I have something, other meetings and businesses here. What time would you like to be there? 3 o'clock. I'll be there. Just ask for you at the front. And where is it? 408 Century Court. And thank you. Aaron just sent your deputies here to take the kids. And if I had not let them go, as he charged me with Class B felony kidnapping, they went with your officers. He has them now. So after she contacted Jeff Long, he somehow got involved there and they went and took the kids. See what I'm saying? He was in on it as well. According to Steve Berger's own statement on May the 8th, he meets with Grant Solomon. He claims that Grant wanted to talk to him about growing closer to God. However, Grant said that he specifically talked to him to ask for help for himself and his family. Then here's an elder right here, Kurt Beasley. Angie contacts Elder Kurt Beasley at Grace Chapel, who is also an attorney. In the email, she says, I'm afraid for my life and that of the children. The elder ignores her, says there's nothing he can do. Now, here is the declaration of Steve Berger. Too bad it's kind of blurry right there. My name is Steve Berger. I have firsthand knowledge of the following events. He says he's the founding pastor of Grace Chapel. Uh, I wish you could read that better. It's really blurry. And basically, he denies that the sexual abuse and all that kind of stuff happened. Um, that's what he had done. And then there's Elder Ron Gonser and Pastor Rick Quay. Angie meets with Patty Tremblay, Rick Quay, and Ron Gonser about what she and her family have been going through. Instead of calling DCS or police, he prays over Angie and anoints her with oil. When she arrives at the meeting, her tires are bald, so Patty suggests she fill out a benevolence form. So, in an email to Angie, Patty offers her prayers. Angie writes to an email to the Lieutenant Tamika Sanders. She attaches the audio file she recorded on the 18th of November 2014, in which Gracie talks about her dad putting soap inside of her. So, from Patty Tremblay, Lord, I'm praying for your mighty hands to move swiftly in this case. We believe you continue to line up the authority figures that are going to provide justice for the lives of Gracie, Grant, and Angie. I pray for the word of their testimonies that are going to begin the healing process for the rest of their lives, leaning fully into you. Abba, I pray to you to confuse the mind of Aaron, which will cause him to slip up ASAP. Father, the enemy has dug deep in Aaron's mind, body, and soul, in which he must have helped to break these strongholds. Every last change, he must repent for every evil deed that he has done his family and others. He must be brought to justice for the full penalty according to the trauma and severity of his actions. And then it says, Grant Gracie give forensic interviews with a social worker for Davis House Child Advocacy Center and Tamika Sanders. She does not call DCS before the interview, but after, when she calls them, DCS tells her not to investigate further. Exactly. Jackie, it's so sad that the wife did everything to speak the truth, what was going on. What do we have to do to believe the children and the women? And so we got these child abuse laws, and we got these sexual abuse laws, and we got this what we're supposed to tell. And when we got these things like this church, and we got the judge, and we got the state senator, and we got the governor of Tennessee, what are we going to do when these people are not abiding by the law, but they're letting more and more of these cases happen? They're not protecting the kids at all until we do something to these people that's higher up into, like the legal system and all that kind of stuff. We are not going to be able to go anywhere. They said Williamson County is very strict on child abuse stuff, and with the exclusion of these certain people. Why are they sweeping that under the rug and letting them being violated? Why are they allowing these people to do this? Why, if they're so strict about all this kind of stuff, why are they not stepping in and say, "Hey, we're going to hold you accountable, Governor Lee. Hey, Jack Johnson, we're going to hold you accountable. Hey, Judge Deanna Lee, or how about all these people from Grace Christian Academy? How about everybody from Brentwood Academy? Where this 12-year-old boy right here was raped and held down. And six boys, I believe it was six different boys, raped him at Brentwood Academy. And Judge Johnson told him just to forget about it and let it slide under the whatever. She also went ahead and told him just forget about the Sunday school teacher that raped a 3-year-old boy. The same judge, the same state senator, the same ones, y'all. The same exact ones. Why isn't Governor Bill Lee stepping up to the plate and eradicating this problem? He's got other laws standing up trying to fix the CPS problem, supposedly, and now he's going in there trying to stop different programs, like it says, right here. Governor's office pushes to dissolve Commission on Children and Youth amid foster care woes. They want it to not be able to be reported. I mean, they need to be held accountable. Look at this. Look at his butthole. Look at Jack Johnson, scum of the earth. Quit trying to present yourself as being Christian. You are utter bull crap. Utter bull crap. You are more satanic. Governor Bill Lee, I'm putting you as satanic as well, since you're going like this, putting the lights up and letting you. And then somebody even said that his first wife, had an accidental death. I don't know what's up with that. I don't know. I just ended up hearing that. So I hope to God he's not involved with that. And here I voted for Governor Lee, but had I known all this stuff, I would not have voted for him, y'all. I would not have voted for him. In early August, Grant and Gracie run away from their father for the first time. And right here it says Heather Webb is appointed as guardian ad litem for Gracie and Grant in an upcoming preliminary hearing for Magistrate Cabell, which is, I don't think she's a good person, if I'm not mistaken. Aaron just sent your deputies here to take the kids, and I had not let them go here to charge them with a Class B felony kidnapping. That went, they went with your officers. He has them now. Aaron sends two sheriff's deputies to pick up the children, intent on scaring them into submission and teaching them not to disobey him. They're teaching the kids that they can't be protected no matter what. That's what you're teaching them. And now Grant's dead. Now Grant, he turned 18-year-old. He was going to go and help his sister to prosecute against his father, the SA, and he mysteriously gets killed. And his father's the only witness of him being saying it was all an accident. Bull crap. I'll show you more on that a little bit too, y'all. Okay. Love you. That's a lot. Are you going to court tomorrow? Because me and Dad are leaving them and coming back tomorrow. I'm scared. You okay? I promise. When are you leaving and where is Grant? Wonder who she's talking to there. Patty Trimley, I guess. Maybe she shouldn't trust Patty Trimley telling her too much. And here in June the 16th, August the 16th or 17th, Asheville rape after bringing Grant to a baseball tournament in Cary, North Carolina. Aaron says that he and Gracie had to return to Nashville for a court hearing the next day. Gracie messages her mother. They stop at a hotel in Asheville, North Carolina. Aaron books a hotel room with one bed. Gracie describes this traumatic event in her videos. She alleges her father molested and raped her during that night. You hear that? She alleges her father molested and raped her during that night. And see, there ain't not a dang thing. They're allowing it. Magistrate Cabell holds a preliminary custody hearing. He refuses to watch Gracie's video testimony, determines that Gracie and Grant will remain with the father's custody. After what happened the night before, Gracie is terrified. Right after the hearing, Aaron takes Gracie back to Cary, North Carolina to pick up Grant. Gracie is so visibly shaken that Heather Webb, the newly assigned guardian ad litem, gives her a business card with her private number written on the back. Boy. Then August the 31st, Aaron shows up at Grace Christian Academy to take Gracie, despite having promised during court-ordered family therapy not to do so. Gracie is in tears, terrified. Soon as she sees Aaron, she runs to the office of elementary headmistress Rona Branson. She also frantically texts her mother. Excuse me. She tells Rona Branson about what her father does to her, disclosing the abuse. Rona Branson is dismissive and calls in headmaster Robbie Mason. He does not report the incident, instead tells Gracie to get in the car. That's old news, Gracie. Now get in the car with your dad, Robbie Mason says. That's old news that your daddy done this to you, so get in the car. What about protecting the kid? What about news reporting? What about all this crap? 29th of August in Publix parking lot, Aaron meets with Gracie and Angie in a grocery store parking lot and confronts them, threatening them with legal consequences and trying to play on Gracie's fears and inexperience. If we don't do what the court says, the police might come and take your mom to prison. You guys are breaking the rules. The Grant celebrates after Magistrate Cabell tells him he wouldn't have to go back to live with his father. Cabell later reverses the declaration. You asshole, Cabell. You asshole, not protecting him. It's okay, Mom, if I go with him. He won't be able to hurt Gracie, Grant to his mother after Cabell's ruling. There's Robbie Mason. Robbie, you are responsible too. You need to be sued. You as well. You were part of the problem of letting this happen. You handed her over. How many sex abuse cases have you got against you, Robbie Mason? When this needs to be another case. If you knew about this and you turned her back over to the abuser and all this other kind of stuff, you should be charged just as much like the sexual abuser. Rona Branson. Then it said September 16th, Magistrate Jacques Cabell conduct you too, Rona Branson. You going like this, going against her. Y'all claim to be Christians. Y'all are nothing but demons. Magistrate Jacques Cabell conducts a new hearing on whether to remove Gracie and Grant from the care of their abuser. Grant's friends Anna Smith and Wynn Hicks appeared to testify with Gracie, but Magistrate Cabell refuses to hear them. Refuses to hear them. Y'all see that? No matter what, these judges already got blinders on. Because I guess Grant's paying them under the table with all the millions he's got. However, he agrees to watch the forensic interview he declined at the last hearing. He doesn't even watch the whole tape. Instead, interrupts it and says, I've seen enough. At first, he promises that both children can stay with their mother. This is when the picture of him and Wynn celebrating is taken. Later, he decides that Gracie will stay with her mother for now, but Cabell decides that Grant is a big boy and he can take care of himself. Then the thing about it is, he goes like that and says that he can stay just for picture's sake to promote himself. So he wants to make himself look good for the picture. And then he goes ahead after with a happy smile and all that, gets the pictures taken. And all of a sudden, it's like a knife in the back. 21st of September 2018, Grant and Gracie run away from their father's home and refuse to go back. They flew to their mother, who can't bear to send them back to their abuser despite the judge's order. On November the 7th, 2018, Grant meets Grace Christian Academies. After administrators called Gracie in for a meeting to tell her to stop talking about the abuse, Grant has had enough. He says he won't go to the school any longer until he had a meeting with the elementary principal, Rhoda Branson. Also present were Lynn McNatt, Amy Curl, and Bob Jordan. They barely let Grant speak. They began justifying their behavior, blaming Gracie for being assaulted and claiming that they were just trying to protect her from a bad reputation. From her bad reputation? Excuse me, y'all's are the ones that's got a bad reputation now. Not defending a kid. The bad reputation should fall on all of y'all involved for allowing this to go. This should have been nipped in the bud a lot of years ago, and then nobody would have a bad reputation if you would have done what God wanted it to be done, not what you men that are so sadistic that love to harm a child that gets off on sexually abusing a child. Some of y'all other ones that are teachers and with this also had married students. Yes, that's right. Y'all have married students yourself when they were younger and married them. You are pedophiles. I don't care if you're married to them or not, it's still a pedophile. Call it for what it is. You preyed on young girls, and some of their young men as well as some of you sadistic people. In February 2019, Deanna Johnson, Angie files a petition for dependent neglect. The case goes before Judge Deanna Johnson. There she is, who had already spoken with Bill Woodard about it. Pastor Steve Berger had made his support for Aaron clear within the church. He made it clear within the church. So even Bill Lee, since he goes in that church, and he made it clear. And Bill Lee is going for it. He's not going against him. Instead, Judge Johnson dismisses the case out of hand and instead labels Angie as an abusive litigant, barring her from filing any motions against Aaron for the next 4 years until Gracie is 18. So, Deanna Johnson, that's the judge, that her husband is the state senator over here that wants to take away child advocacy things, people speaking for children. They are a married couple who needs to go to jail for their traitorism, for them allowing sexual abuse. To me, I wonder how much have they been doing this to kids myself if they're allowing this. How much are y'all hiding? How much are y'all doing this to kids too? And y'all don't want to be in trouble. Get real. If you're allowing this, you know what? That means you're just as guilty by association for allowing this. May you all rot in hell. On July the 20th, I don't usually say something like that. You know that, Jackie. I usually don't. July 20, 2020, Grant is tragically killed under suspicious circumstances. Aaron is the only witness, and the story does not add up. See separate timeline. Member at Grace's Chapel show up at Angie's house. She describes them as intrusive. According to Angie, they described injuries that didn't exist and seemed intent on convincing her that this death was an accident. It's like Grant's funeral is devastating for Angie and Gracie. Steve Berger speaks at the funeral and insists that Grant came to him to talk about Jesus. No, he didn't. He came to you to talk about the stuff that was going on, and you totally dismissed it. You are going to hell yourself for this same reason behind what you're doing. You are full of crock of lies. There's women in Shit Creek without a paddle. Exactly. They're a part of it with them allowing it. Aaron shows very little emotion, only talks about baseball during a funeral. Aaron's the daddy, remember? Aaron's suspicious behavior and inconsistent accounts of the day of Grant's death lead Angie to hire a private investigator. Though he had previously at least partially respected Gracie's wishes, Aaron sent Angie an email stating that he would enforce parenting time with Gracie whether he wanted to or not. Uh-oh. Sorry when I tried to make it bigger. Okay. Here's from Aaron Solomon on September 21st, 2020. I have been more than patient and willing to work together the past 2 years for the betterment of our children. Betterment of our children, bull crap. The betterment on you being able to sexually abuse her. And you were also in an organization, Aaron, for sexually abused children, Aaron. You're supposed to be speaking out to help these kind of things from happening. But how much are you covering up? Is also the judge from that also in that child help organization, or is that a profit organization to help y'all where y'all can sadistically violate more and more kids? Excuse me, I do not trust child help with you being a part of it and all that kind of stuff. I do not trust them at all. It might have been a reputable one, but I do not believe anything that's got any affiliations with Aaron Solomon. All right. Um, I'm sorry, excuse me. Boy, I tell you like it is how I feel. um, it said, I do believe it's better that children have both parents directly involved in their lives. Unfortunately, you continued actions prove you don't believe the same thing. Not if you're a pedophile, you jackass. Sorry. Now, more so than ever, Gracie needs both parents in her life. I am willing to co parent 50-50 at the moment, but nothing less. With that in mind, I'll pick up Gracie from your house Saturday afternoon at 4, and we'll drop her back off at your house the following Sunday at 4. Heck, you want to keep her for a whole week and sexually abuse her for a whole entire week? With alternating weeks scheduled after that. Gracie needs to have all of her books and clothes needed for school and any other activities for the week when I pick her up. If you're not willing to join me in co-parenting Gracie together or if she's not ready to go with me on 4 p.m. Sunday, I will enforce the court documented printing plan paperwork. I appreciate you working with me to help raise Gracie with both her parents involved moving forward. You're over involved because you are wanting the pedophilia part of it. You sick sadistic. And here is a restraining order. This morning, Williamson County Court ruled for restraining order in effect immediately for Gracie Solomon from her father, Aaron Solomon. This includes Grace Christian Academy. But even though he's even not supposed to be around the daughter, even at Grace Christian Academy, Grace Christian Academy still let the father take the daughter, even though there was a restraining order. He was not supposed to have her. It, excuse me, in December 2020, Gracie stopped going to school. Around this time, Gracie is so terrified of her father taking her from school again that she stops attending school altogether. She struggles with panic attacks and regularly breaks out in hives because of the immense psychological stress her father is causing her. In September 20 and March 2021, as her father continually violates their boundaries, Gracie and her mother are at their wits' end. Gracie decides to film a video evidence in case something should happen to her. And November 2020, Grant is still frequently in school grounds despite Gracie wanting him to stay away from her and having a restraining order against her. On March 19th, the truck, after searching for it far and wide, Angie finally finds Grant's truck at a scrapyard. She knows that it is an essential piece of evidence in getting justice for her son's death. In May 2021, with an imminent threat of having to be with her father, hanging overhead, Gracie sees only one option. She decides to publish the videos she made in March. Anna Smith, one of Grant's best friends, also makes a video corroborating Gracie's claims. And 2nd of April 2021, Angie finally gets money to buy back Grant's truck. She stores it at a friend's garage for safekeeping, and so Aaron will not find out she has it. At, excuse me. After the release of the video in a similarly punitive act, court bench orders Gracie into DCS custody due to fear of psychological harm. This is unprecedented. All she wants to do is to live with her mother, be safe from her abusive father, and get justice from her brother. So they actually literally came and got the child away from the mother as well. How sick and sadistic is this? Because her not going to school um, to keep away from the daddy, so there's a lot. We're going to go ahead and we're going to remove her. We're going to remove her, Okay, now here's about Grant's death. Here's the scene of his death. See how his pickup truck is? There's no way that it had rolled backwards into the ditch, rolling over him. On July the 20th, 2020, Grant Solomon was tragically killed in a still unexplained incident in Gallatin, Tennessee. His father, with whom he had a volatile relationship, was the only witness. Aaron Solomon claims he saw Grant exit the truck, but then looked away, and the next thing he sees the truck rolling into the ditch. Neither evidence of the scene nor Grant's injuries matched the account Aaron gave GPD, who took his word for it and closed the case. Okay, I'm going to put this in and take my vocals off so that you'll be able to listen to this.
I'm trying.
Where's your emergency?
It's 1357 South Water Street. It's off 109. Please hurry.
You said 57?
Please hurry.
Okay, what's going on?
1357. My son's truck backed over him, and it's rolled over him and dragged him into the ditch, and it's on top of him. He's trapped under the truck, and somehow it drug him underneath it. Yes, my son is under it. I'm trying to call 911.
Okay, what's your name?
Oh my God. My name is Aaron Solomon.
And you said
you're at
1357 South Water Avenue, right?
Yes.
How old is the male?
He's 18. He just turned 18 a couple weeks, about a month ago. It's my son. Oh my God. Oh my God, this is not good.
Is he awake?
Oh, please hurry. I don't think so. He's not alert, right? No, he's out. And he's trapped. I got 3 guys here, and he's trapped under the truck.
Okay.
Oh my God.
I understand, sir. Stay on the phone with me while we get somebody out there. What's your name?
Aaron Solomon.
All right, Aaron.
Huh?
What kind of vehicle is it?
It's a Toyota Tacoma, and the vehicle he's underneath the vehicle.
Okay, I've got that.
And it's.
Okay, I've got that. What color is it?
It's a white truck. That's my son. It's somehow backed up. Yeah. Yeah, I'm on with 911 right now. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Was your son working on it?
No, he was just getting out of it. We're on an incline, and I guess he didn't have it in park or something, or it wasn't engaged, or. Oh my God. Oh my God, I can't believe this.
Is your son still not responding?
No.
And he's still under the truck. No one can get out from under it?
No,
We've got
it's
units en route to you. I'm just asking you questions for we can
Huh?
update them, okay? Can you check and see
Huh?
if he's breathing?
Somebody's telling me that he's coming to.
Okay,
Maybe.
he is waking up,
Maybe.
kind of keeping still. So he is
Well, he
breathing?
can't move. I don't think he can move. I don't know.
Okay, I understand.
No, he can't move. He's trapped.
Okay, we got somebody en route. Now, when he wakes up, he might
I'm
be
telling him,
scared.
man.
Can somebody
I'm
just get
telling
down
him.
there and talk to him?
Yeah, somebody talked to him. Shit. Gee, there's blood. Is he facing up or down? He's facing up. They said he may aspirate. We need to hurry. Oh, my God.
So does he have blood coming out of his mouth?
Yeah, there's blood coming out. Yeah, somehow it drug him down, I think. I don't know whether it was in his heart or what, or if it didn't engage the brake, or it drug him underneath somehow.
Okay.
They said he's facing up,
Okay.
but he's bleeding from his mouth. So, Grant, turn your face to the side if you can, barely, but be careful.
Don't move him, okay?
We can't move him. We can't move him. Oh my God.
All right, Decent, they're there. I'm going to let you go, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
This is crazy because he even knew. And here is also, let me get back to that, where his sister says justice for Grant. So I'll go ahead and play that as well.
My brother died protecting me from my father, Aaron Solomon. My father's a monster. It makes me want to vomit. I've been minimalized, but now I've found my voice to be able to tell you that my father raped me, hurt me, and I'm not going to be a victim of this monster. He's a rapist, he's a molester, he's a liar, and he's a killer.
I mean, there's just, I don't know, none of it makes sense. And because I didn't see the whole thing, I mean, nobody knows except God.
Is his but the wheels weren't on him?
No.
So how was he was laying under there?
Yeah, his head back over there, but not with the wheel on him. And
His head was
he was
where?
like at an angle. His head was like kind of under the axle,
Okay, so his feet
beyond
were down the
this.
other way?
angled back like that. So the wheels, neither of these tires were on him. But I don't know if the back ones had run over him. I don't know. You know, I don't, because I didn't actually see everything
so
happen.
these tires were in front of him.
Correct.
Okay, so you're saying that he was laying right here, and then he angled that way.
Well, just slightly.
Okay, wait.
That
So
way.
okay, no.
Because if
so
you were like straight across, it might have been.
no, just say
was-
Grant is long and straight right here. So instead
no.
of being long and
Right.
straight,
No,
he's
it's more
long
like-
and.
No, so he is like.
Oh God, Aaron, you don't have to do
Well,
this.
I know, but I'm trying to like an angle like this. So not straight across, not.
But behind
No.
that tire right
Yes, exactly.
there. So he was so
Yeah.
the legs
I
would have
don't
been coming out over here.
Right. So. And so remember what I tried to explain.
Okay,
is
so
that-
I'm just trying to get this clear because my mind, I can't sleep at night because of this. That's why I'm because I'm videoing because I'm gonna have to listen to this again because I can't process right now.
Right, I know.
So
Right,
his
so
head was
imagine-
where was his
Right.
head was on that side of the tires. Up there, you can see
Yes.
it.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, and then his body
And he's
angled this way.
He's angled almost straight across, but slightly across like this. So these wheels, neither wheel was on him, but that part I think was I think his chest and abdomen area was trapped by the axle, I believe. So this is actually
How would you know the axle was on him?
because that's the area. Because that's where. Because of where his head was. And
Where were the rocks?
All right, so this is actually a decent example of how. So WPI's up here. Then the parking lot is kind of like this.
Yeah.
And then at the edge of the parking lot, it's just like this, a ditch that's steeper than this, down, and then it goes back up. And so down in here is those rocks
Okay.
on a little bit of both sides. And then
Okay.
here's 109. So what had happened is the truck actually comes down this, and you can see, I think the bumper got damaged probably when it was
When it ducked.
like there.
Yeah,
Yes,
that
but
makes sense.
with the force
Mhm.
was so much, the truck, when it settled, was actually, the front was kind of against that side of the ditch, and the back end was actually stuck up on almost the shoulder of 109. So,
So that's why the front end was tilted a little bit back down,
yes,
and that's why
Yes, the
and that's
truck-
what was laying on him.
yes. So the heavy part of the truck is on his end. Also, it's extremely unstable. As soon as they hopped out, they had stabilization things for the back and jacks for the front, so they could jack it up without it rolling forward on top of him more. Because the truck had actually settled, just like the truck came down through here, and then it was actually, the front end was against that side of the ditch, and the back end was almost sticking up. And 109's right here. The shoulder of 109 is like right there. So,
Aaron, would it be okay if I start the truck and let it roll? Is it okay with you? I don't want to overstep my bounds. I just can't understand how this. I mean, I can because my truck does it too. But
Look at all
I
this
just
trash.
want to feel it. I just want to
Well-
understand.
well, I know, so do I. I mean, I don't.
But nobody understands.
No, I know. I can't either. I mean, none of it, it all defies.
Let's first.
See, right now I have the parking brake on. It's a foot parking brake, so it's not one that you pull up here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Can you,
you know.
start it and then put it
But
in drive and just
could
see
you
how
not
fast
see
it
his
rolls?
head on that side when you come down the hill?
Not at the very beginning, because at first, I'm not thinking worst case scenario at the very beginning. At first, when I got out of my car thinking, oh my gosh, and I look around the parking lot and I don't see him, I start coming down this hill, and first I'm looking through the windshield to see if he had hopped back in by chance, because I don't see him standing up out here. So then I'm like, well, maybe he got back in somehow, and I don't see him in, and so I'm above the hill, and this is the front end's at the bottom of the ditch, and I look down, and I don't see his entire body, because I see his red shirt and his head over here because he's angled that way. So I know that I know he wasn't covered by wheels up front, neither his head nor his feet, but he wasn't perfectly perpendicular. He was at a little bit of an angle, but still.
Were his feet sticking out? I'm just asking questions that don't matter, but were they sticking out over here, or were they just...
Yeah, I mean, they had to be. They had to be, because mine would be sticking out. I was more in the front of it, and I'm calling 911 immediately, and I'm probably, you know, kind of this far at the top of the ditch on this side of it, at the edge of the parking lot. And literally, because I'm, you know, people are like, man, you need to sit down because you're...
Yeah, but
getting
did
I'm
nobody
calling
try
911.
right then to get the truck off of him?
A couple guys, they were afraid, like, because if you try to move this and it rolls, it wasn't stable. It wasn't stable. So it could have, you know, there weren't enough of us. It would have taken 20 dudes, maybe, to try to and move him and pick it up.
And
so
you never got down there to his head?
not all the I never made it all the way down here like this. I'm on the phone trying to give the
But he was...
dispatch.
How do you know he wasn't making sounds, or...
Well, because two dudes came, and they I mean, I could see that he was unconscious, and I could see that he wasn't moving his mouth, and I was close enough to see that, and they said he was not moaning, or, I mean, there was no sounds. They could see the two guys that had, the construction dudes, whatever they were, they stopped, and they were trying to help and assess, and they said he was unconscious, and they just saw a little bit of blood come
So
out.
there's stories everywhere, like
there
everywhere.
should be,
That even that
because-
Gracie was with him. I mean, no,
Oh,
they've
I know.
gone that far.
Yeah, no, I
But there's stories out there that he was... this was one I heard today, that he was talking to them.
No.
Well, wait a minute. And when they lifted the truck off, because the pressure was off of him, it caused him to bleed out. And I'm like, no. And no, Gracie, the woman, the head of BPA, is telling that one. Baseball, whatever.
Yeah, there's no, that's just,
And will you please make sure if anybody else publishes anything or does a story, they mention me too.
yeah, I don't even know when anybody's
I know.
publishing me.
Well, Holly
Like, I haven't
didn't
talked to
mention,
anybody.
she didn't, not that it matters, but she
She's still in my car with mine running, and it was about to get out.
So when you saw him last, where was he standing?
So I'm in my car. I'm right here, like literally
You're
this-
parked here, on
Yeah,
on this side
yes,
of him.
I'm right here.
Uh-huh.
I look over first when we first pull up, and he's looking at his phone and wrapping something up, and then I'm checking to make sure work emails that are coming in aren't something I need to address. My car is still running with air conditioner on, so I can't hear if his is on or off. But so I look down, then I look back up, and I see him because we were early. I mean, we had like plenty of time, so there was no rush. We had our time. So the last I see is him literally like right here closing this, about to open this, and I'm thinking, oh, he's just going to get his gear, and I'm going to check this email to make sure it's not important, and then I'm going to get out, and we're going to go in.
Did he have his ball cap on then
Yeah.
and everything?
Yeah, had his hat on, had his glasses on, because
And that's the
He had
last
his
you saw him
glasses.
was right
Yeah,
there.
yes.
And the truck wasn't rolling at that
No.
point, because you
Well,
would have noticed it.
Right. So here's the thing. I don't know whether he got this and it started rolling and he tried to stop it and got knocked down, or if he was in here and then it knocked him down and knocked him out and maybe the door dropped. I don't know.
But when he
you
was
know?
laying there, he was on his back.
Yes, face up, chest up. Yeah, it's tough to see. First,
And the thing is, like, I know as a mother, for me, like, I would just want to know what happened to my son.
Well, and here's the thing. I wish I knew.
I mean, I know both
exactly.
of y'all do. I know, it's like
and
haunting.
me being there makes it even worse for me because I'm like, what?
I'm so
I mean,
sorry.
I wish I had. Now in hindsight, I just wish I had gotten out right when I got.
Or if I had just gone with him, right?
I
You know?
mean, there's so many what ifs. That's why I said it
just
had
so
to be
many.
a God thing because it's so freaky. Like, it's so freaky. Here's the thing. Whether it was in park or in drive doesn't really matter because either way it shouldn't roll back, honestly. Now,
and then it needs to be recalled.
Somebody looked up that these trucks have a mechanism that in drive, they don't roll back.
well, and maybe, I don't know. I don't know whether he did.
I mean, just
have
the
it
boys. The boys are all searching for
I know.
answers.
Listen,
like everybody's
listen, I know.
searching.
Can I just have the key and let me just try it?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry. I just
put it in park and
Okay.
then take this off. See, I don't know that he used this. I kind of doubt that he did the foot push pedal.
yeah.
You know, I kind of doubt that.
That really wasn't like So you're in park now. It's not rolling. Watch out, Angie. Okay, here's drive. And it goes forward.
Now that incline there is
Yeah, but
Yeah.
go up a little more, Aaron. Go up a little more, and then now what happens? It goes forward.
well, I don't know. But see, I don't know
Okay,
whether,
but
whether he had it.
okay. Now do me another favor. Put it in
Hold on.
park.
Here's neutral.
There's neutral.
Okay,
So
neutral.
that would be an
Is
immediate
neutral-
as you're trying to get out.
Well, what's park and then reverse is next.
Right.
Put it in reverse and see what
Reverse
happens.
wouldn't allow him to get even out. You know.
Wait, what? Just
I mean, it's
Neither-
going back.
And neither would, fast.
so neutral.
Neutral seems like it would roll back too quickly.
for him
Let
to
me
get
get out.
out.
Now put in park again. Wait, just a minute. Let me just. Okay, go.
There's park.
There's park.
Now it's steeper there than this.
Right.
It's steeper there. Yeah.
Pull up pull up a little further and try it.
All right. So
Okay.
there's drive.
There's drive.
Okay. Now neutral. I mean reverse.
But here's neutral.
There's neutral.
I mean that's immediate. So he can't even get out the door.
Yeah.
So it's either got to be, quite honestly, it seems like it's got to be maybe drive, and it was paused because this is still not as steep as their parking lot.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think is maybe it was in, but even I don't know. Now see right here, it's in drive and it's not moving. But
Okay.
It's not as steep as it is there.
But if my dad's theory was true that it was jumped out of gear and it jumped to reverse, he can't get. But if it jumped after he got out,
Right. Well, hold on.
what's that?
Well, I just tried to see if I could even put it in park where it's over where it shifts, and it won't even stay there. It automatically goes over here. So
Okay.
I don't know. It's just so freaky.
Wait, you did
because
what?
none of it makes sense. No, I was trying to see how park it goes in there. I was trying to see, like you were saying, would it pop out of
It
park?
can't because it has to go over to the column.
Right. So it won't stay there. It won't stay right there to possibly pop down to
No.
reverse.
God,
I mean,
dang,
it's just,
what happened?
I don't know. None of it makes sense. And because I didn't see the whole thing, I mean, nobody knows except God.
Is his cooler
you know?
in here that I packed in?
It's right here. It's right here.
Okay.
I mean, everything- I haven't touched any.
I know this sounds crazy, but I want you to put the parking brake on and I want to get under it. I just need to be where Grant was.
With the parking brake on?
Just turn it off.
Okay.
Turn it
Yeah.
off and put the brake on.
I was gonna say, please don't do that. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Well, that's why they call it a freak accident.
Exactly.
Because
it's unexplainable.
it's
And that's
unexplainable.
why the only way I can, like I said in my talk the other day, in my message, is that it's a God thing, because none of it makes sense. Like, none of it.
So what you're, Aaron,
Yeah.
so what you're saying is his legs weren't really trapped. It was more probably the chest under that bar, whatever that is.
Right.
So this whole thing, whatever this is that's right here that holds fluid by the next bar, was not on him. It was the front one, right? Like it's the front axle, and then there's a thing right there. What is that? Holds this. What's that? And this. This
It was
wasn't.
more like the front axle.
So his legs were free,
Yes. That's what
and you
I'm
don't
saying.
think a tire ran over it,
Well,
them.
I have no idea. I have no idea how he ended up where he did. What I'm amazed, Thomas also rolled so straight. It rolled perfectly straight, almost down to the ditch, and then at the last second it was turned slightly, but not a lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, that means the wheels didn't turn much at all. They stayed straight while it back down. Now the parking lot isn't very deep, so there's not a lot of them. It's just,
I'm so sorry.
so I know, and of course I've seen it as a movie, but you know, and people were offering to forget it, but it was like, no. When I thought about it that first night, I was like, no, I need to be the one who gets it, just with my facing the wheel. And the first time I just saw it, I was like, and then the first time I opened it up to see his stuff, like, he hasn't even really looked at
Yeah.
I could see there's a shoe, and there's,
Yeah.
you know,
His life,
yes,
you know.
exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, I mean, I can see how that thing would pin a chest.
Yeah, but not really pin it. You know, like pin it, but not like push down. You know,
So it wasn't pinned. It wasn't pushing down.
No, not pushing down.
And this
but
makes
where
no
but you couldn't,
sense.
like, and of course you can't like try to pull him out because that could make things a heck of a lot
Yeah,
worse.
but how did the skull crack open and the brain be
Well, those
exposed?
rocks, Angie, we don't know.
Okay,
It's
so
not-
his
what
head
if-
was laying in the rocks.
Yes, yeah, the back of his head, he was straight up, looking straight up. So the back of his head was on the rocks,
Like
But
straight
who
up
knows-
like this.
But who knows? But yes, well, like not that tilted back, like he's laying in bed, or you know. But here's the thing: I don't know if he got, like, let's say by chance the back door caught him and he got knocked out somehow when he first hit, and it drags him through the parking lot, down the ditch, and he tumbles down through the ditch. His head could have hit 2 or 3 times.
Anything, yeah.
The last time I see him, he's standing here, and I can see that he's going here. I look down, and just a few seconds later, I look up in the truck. I see he's settling down the ditch.
Yeah.
and I hop out, and that's the worst feeling is not having your car.
Oh,
You look, and you don't see.
Your son. Yeah.
Watch the truck, please. Watch the truck. I'm under it. It's not blood. Hey Mel, do you have your readers? Can I borrow them? Somebody's?
I think I went off without him. I've been suffering all day.
This is not his blood, it's rust. It's not him. Wait, that is. Gotcha, buddy.
Yeah.
Now,
But if it was wrong, it would have been so fast. He probably wouldn't have had
at the
time.
beginning, maybe not. I don't know. I have no idea. You know, I've tried
So his
to
head That's right.
Reaching into a bag and starting to call him, but then how does he, you know, I don't.
Oh, it's so hard.
Trust me, I've had 8 million examples run through my mind about what could have happened if I didn't.
Yeah, right. I know.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
and then because the way it was sitting on top of it, there was major danger of how to move it correctly without having to fall on the work.
Right, I know. Yeah, you
So
can't.
that's why the crews get out immediately, and with the front end, because the motor's up there, and he's under, like if it had been the back end, and it didn't have a chance to like roll more on him, I would have tried it. Like,
Yeah.
all maybe 3 dudes that
Yeah.
were there, we would have tried to pick
Right.
it up here, but there, and the way it was sitting, we could have routed it on him or rolled it on him because it was still at an angle.
Yeah.
So it could have driven us back into that side of the ditch,
Right.
you know, if it got loose.
Was it running when they found when he was?
I don't remember him running.
Oh, really?
I don't remember him running. But it runs fairly quiet.
Yeah, yeah.
But honestly, I don't think
I wonder where.
Okay, so now tell me again where his head was.
not far from you, but almost to the back of where your phone.
Move my phone like right here.
No, towards you.
Okay, now
towards the other tire.
What part of the head are we talking about? Forehead, middle head.
And go back towards the rear of the truck a little. Oh, now towards the tire a little bit. In that, maybe back towards the back of the car. No. Towards the.
I mean, there's blood right here.
In that area where your phone is.
So his head, but he was looking up, so there was nothing laying on his head.
Correct. And it wasn't like, it didn't seem like that thing was pressing on his chest. But it didn't seem like it was pressing,
right,
but it looked like you couldn't have, I don't think you could have pulled him out if you wanted to, and that wouldn't have been a smart
Okay,
thing to do.
but his head, so now that I've seen under here, so his head, based on what I am right now, where his head was. His head was like right there.
A little bit farther back.
Okay, like right there.
Okay.
Right there. Like
yeah, in that
like
general
right here. Like you could see his hair and his stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
not right.
Like in.
You could, but you could see his hair and his stuff.
Oh yeah.
Which would be about the right distance.
Like I said, he was at an angle.
But
so-
neither one of those things were on him at that moment. That axle and the other at that moment. Right?
Not that it didn't look like something was pressing down.
Yeah,
on
it
his
probably
body.
hit him earlier than that.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Whatever it was. I mean, who knows what, you know, how many times. I have no idea. I mean, I could try to ask the EMS if they were. I was just curious. If they were in the ignition or in his pocket. I doubt they were in his pocket because second lot, and then maybe as it was going down the ditch, it went this way just a little. So it was just a little off exact center. It was about like that instead of that. And yeah, you can see, well, and who knows, I don't know, because like I said, the truck is settled. Whether it needs to be fixed, whether I sell it or decide, you know.
Oh gosh, I can't think that for you.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying down the road, not right now.
Before you sell it, I know
Or
some.
if I do, or whether I don't.
Well, I mean, I
sell
know
it.
some of the boys are wanting to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me make a few pictures. here.
So I'm literally
You're parked
sitting,
here.
sitting right there. We both pull in. I'm
Yeah.
in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
My car's still running.
Yeah.
Last time I see Grant
Right.
is literally like this. And I see him. I don't see the truck rolling yet.
Well, yeah.
I don't even see it rolling until I see it kind of settling back there. Right at that time, I get like a word email, and I'm like, I just look down for a second to see. So I didn't see to the point where he gets to this. This is the last thing I see.
Did he close that door?
He was closing the door when I saw him, and
Okay.
so
he was
and the
still
doors
upright
were
then.
closed
Yeah.
when I get out. So I don't know when the truck started rolling, because I told Tim, I said, Tim, if I had seen it start to roll, I would have jumped out. If I see the truck rolling, I'm going to jump out. And
Yeah.
be like, hey, get away from it,
Right.
just like
Oh,
whatever.
Of course.
Or make sure, try to pull him away or whatever.
You wouldn't have had
So
time.
I don't know whether he had
yeah.
gotten to this or
So,
if
yeah.
it started rolling and he goes back. I don't know.
So then next.
So all I know is I look down, then I look up, and I see I look over here and I don't see the truck. I look in my mirror and I see the truck settling in the ditch so quickly. So I hop out immediately.
Yeah.
I hop out and I look right here, expecting to see him like laying here
Or standing.
Or standing.
Up there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Up there.
And as
Or-
soon as I don't see him right here, my heart goes, and I start walking. And as I'm walking right here, the truck is angled like that.
Yeah.
And I'm looking through the windshield. So I'm like, all right, maybe he got back in the truck. And I'm walking, and he's not in the windshield. He's not inside.
He's not in the windshield.
He's not inside the truck. And so then my heart even goes further. And right about here, I can see his red shirt that he was wearing, and I see his face barely, because I can't see his entire body because he's under. I can only see like this right here, and I immediately just get weak, and I immediately pull up my phone to call 911, and I'm trying to be calm for them, and somebody had just run out and said, man, you need to sit down, because they could tell I was getting weak, but I needed to be strong, and I knew looking at this that humans could not, like 3 or 4 people or 5 people couldn't help at the moment, that 911 needed to get here immediately. So I'm on with the dispatch going, please get here fast.
So he was pinned over there.
1357.
It had already finished its roll.
Oh, yeah, it had stopped.
He was over
It had
there.
stopped, yeah.
Okay. And you saw his
And I'm
red.
like, get here fast. And I still had the number in that 1357 South Water. My son there's been an accident. My son is trapped underneath the truck. And she's like, all right, give me some more information. And then once they hang up, crews are literally here because downtown is so close. They were here quickly. And somebody's like, man, you don't need to basically not come down there, because I may fall and I can't. And I'm like right here, like laying down. I'm laying down. I'm, sitting
right here. Yeah.
And the crews get here, and immediately, they've got fire trucks and ambulances, and guys are getting out of the truck with jacks and braces. Because I knew in my mind, even if it would take maybe 20 men to pick up the front end of the truck, and even then the weight of it could roll. So I knew we needed equipment quickly, and so they get out and they're jacking it up, and immediately a police officer says, Mr. Solomon, we need you to come with us in here. And at the moment I was mad. I was like, don't take me from my son. Don't take me. Well, actually, before that, you might have heard some of that, because I'm calling you next, saying there's been a horrific accident. I'm in a panic. Just get here. We're in Gallatin. All that. Then the police officer pulls me in there.
That's when I heard it in there.
Okay.
That's when they were yelling at you.
Yeah, because I was on with dispatch quite a while. They said, stay on the line with us. Yeah. And so they pull me in there to talk to me. And at the time I was mad, but then after the fact, I think that was so I wouldn't see everything. And make it worse.
And then that's when we got them to tell us some of the regional hospital, and I left and headed this way.
Right. As soon as parking lot, it's just like this, a ditch. It's steeper, settled.
a longtime veteran of the Gallatin Police Department, and we have some questions for him. As in most businesses, does the police department have education on how to fill out a police report, especially if they are critical life injuries or even fatalities? Are you docked for errors or blank spaces? Is there an audit? Will this be considered a complete and thorough report? No, not in any other business. But is this how police do it? I would not be wearing a smile if I were you, man. You won't be having a smile at Judgment Day. I guarantee that. Justice is coming for all you people. And I would want to be a fly on the wall. I want to be right there and see it happening. I want to watch it. Here's the perpetrator, y'all. Here's the perpetrator right here. There's Aaron, right here, Aaron Solomon. He is a substantiated sexual abuse perpetrator and has been in the DCS system since 2022 for the years of sexual abuse against Gracie, his own daughter, from 2013 until 2018. It took one person at DCS and another county who wouldn't stop digging for the truth, even while being told, y'all see that? I'm glad you're here. See, they were still being told to stop. Stop this going against, this person who was essaying his own daughter, who was going and still grooming other kids at that school. And the school was allowing all this. The church. Okay, I'm looking for the link now to sign the petition. All right. Yes. So I hope that y'all could go back and watch that full video that I did at a previous time also. Let's see. Look at change org grant. Oops. I wish my typing skills were better right now than what they used. I used to be better. Grant Solomon. Okay, I'll get the link right quick. And y'all can even see the page. I guess I'll go ahead and share the page on this as well. Okay, here's the link right there. And I'm going to go ahead and I'll share that page. Sorry, I like to come along. Because it's not going to be a present, share screen, entire screen, allow. Come on now, load back up. Oh, wow. Okay, here it is right here. Here's the change.org thing to sign the petition. Investigate Grant Solomon's bizarre unexplained death. 25,506 people have signed. Let's get to 35,000, it says. Aunt Jenny started this petition to Chief of Police Don Bandy Gallatin Police Department, 3 others. And here's what it says right here. Grant Solomon died early on the morning of July 20th, 2020. The only witness was his father, Aaron, who says that Grant was run over by his own car in a freak accident. Nothing about this narrative makes sense. No real investigation was ever completed. The medical examiner's report shows blunt force trauma to the head and bruises which does not match Aaron's narrative that he was dragged across a parking lot into a rocky ditch. Grant and his father had a rocky relationship, and he had alleged abuse in the past. CPS are required to investigate the death of any child in their system, but Grant died only weeks after his 18th birthday. His clothing and shoes did not have a scratch on them. Aaron's story continues to change. The 911 call, in which he mentions three mysterious men who never came forward, is difficult to listen to as Aaron refuses to go near his son. He refused to have the truck examined and allegedly committed insurance fraud to try and get rid of it. It's hard to imagine a father could do this, but all we ask for is a fair, thorough, and unbiased investigation. There's more than enough cause for an investigation. That's all we are asking with this petition. If Mr. Solomon had nothing to do with the alleged accident, he should welcome the investigation. Our goal is to raise 10,000 signatures to share with state, federal, and local authorities. Thank you for sharing. Here's Grant right here. This happened 2021. This petition. Child Protective Services did not protect him, and now police and the legal system are trying to cover up the truth about his killing. That's why we've come gathered today to demand justice for Grant. And also, if you had noticed, I'm going to go back over here. Grant's death. See if it's got that about where the vehicle looks. Where's the? Let's see. I don't see the pictures on his. Oh, the truck. Here's the truck, y'all. Spray smoking gun originally came from an idea that you found a recently fired gun on a suspect. There was unshakable proof. Okay, here's the truck. Okay, fall 2020. Here's it at the scrapyard. She got the truck. Okay, let's see. Forensics exam conclusively states the accident could not have occurred as Aaron described. The Gallatin Police Department still refused to open the investigation. They still refuse. But I wish this was not in the way um, of the. I wish it was not in the way. Grant. Here's his memorial. There's the story. And on here, here's it says Grant's story. Grant Solomon was an extraordinary young man despite the extreme difficulties at home. Grant was a vibrant, upbeat, and talented boy, a loyal friend and sibling who impacted many. He adored his mother and sister and considered himself their protector. Grant had a beautiful girlfriend, Hannah, and they loved one another deeply. A talented baseball pitcher, he was being recruited by Division I schools. Hundreds gathered for his memorial, and it was his peers who relentlessly pointed out the painfully obvious inconsistencies in his death. According to his sister and his friends, Grant never had a good relationship with his father, who he said would abuse him regularly, mostly psychologically, but would also physically lash out at times. Despite his well documented fear of his father, for years he tried to get help, just as Gracie was dismissed. Grant was often dismissed as just a kid. Grant had hopes of testifying against the court once he turned 18. Once he was legally considered an adult, Grant hoped that his testimony would finally be heard. On July 20th, 2020, only 5 weeks after his 18th birthday, Grant Solomon died after supposedly being run over by his own vehicle. The only witness to this alleged accident was his father, Aaron. The incident was extremely suspicious, yet the entire investigation consisted of taking Aaron's statement. The Gallatin police treated the tragic event like a parking lot incident, even though the truck and Grant were on government property, and closed the case. The case has not been reopened. And says Grant's death right there. Here's scene photos. Here we go. This is what I was looking for. All right. You see how the truck is. Can y'all tell me that that backed up, or does it look like it went forward? Y'all tell me. It does not look like it's any way. Oh, thank you. It does not look like it's in any way that it backed up. See? Look at it. Because he did not even get run over. Physically, there were no run over marks, okay? Or no drag marks, no run over marks. See the vehicle how it is? It looks like it was intentionally driven from the other side of the road and up that way. Yes, it looks like it went forward to me too. Exactly. See how it is, and it's and the pavement like that. Exactly. And so well, he's getting away with this. It said Grant was found under the front of the truck on his back with his head pointed toward the building. There are no tracks through the grass to indicate a truck had rode through it, dragging a 6'3" male from every angle. The grass stands tall and undamaged. And here's a side picture of the truck right here. The sidewalk area ditch are government property. It was treated like a private parking lot incident. According to his own testimony, Aaron stayed up in the parking lot and did not attend to his son himself. And you listened a few minutes ago when he was talking to his ex-wife, said that somebody come running out of this building. But guess what? Nobody come running out of that building. They all said they didn't. Such a liar. Rear tire track. Vehicle drove forward. See, there's proof that it drove forward. See the track right there. Look at it. You see that track mark right there? Vehicle drove forward. There's the tire track. The right rear, I mean, the right, oops, excuse me. The right tire track is also clearly visible. The absence of tracks at the top of the presence at the bottom were ignored by the Gallatin police. They were totally ignored because, as we said earlier, that Aaron was got a substantial inheritance, so he had money. Grant's glasses were found up by the sidewalk. Grant cannot see without his glasses and always wore them. If his glasses are here, the obvious conclusion is that Grant was last standing here, not at the top of the parking lot. That's where his glasses were found. Y'all see them right here in the grass? And the police, when they did the investigation, did not even pick up his glasses. They didn't pick him up. They left them behind. And it says, by the driver's side door, a bloody rock is circled on the left. Grant's glasses are circled by the sidewalk on the right. The close up of the bloody rock beside the driver's side front door, Grant only had two injuries, a blow to the jaw and a fatal blow to the back of the head. But remember also, his daddy called him and told him that there was going to be baseball or softball practice, whichever one he played. And so he showed up. And then this happened to him. And did y'all know, like I said, his bat is missing. So his daddy could have very well hit him in the head with a baseball bat and took the evidence away. According to Toyota, the Tacoma's bumpers are meant to fold under even minor pressure. The Gallatin police used this as evidence. The truck crashed backward into the ditch. The hijack lift that was used on the front to lift the front of the truck would also have caused the back bumper to come into contact with the sidewalk and fold under. It says, but there's no damage to the back, I don't think. I don't know what's the damage to the back. So when they go to move it or something, while crashing backward into the ditch would have caused major damage, the minor damage to the bumper is easily explained by experts. According to TruckDefender.com, most all truck enthusiasts agree get a custom bumper on the Toyota Tacoma. The bumper isn't up to the challenges of daily life. When you get a Toyota Tacoma, the stock bumper it comes with it's designed to fold and crumple in the event you hit something. When you're in a serious accident, the more force your truck can take, the better because it reduces your risk of injury. However, truly serious accidents aren't nearly as common as bumping into something or minor collisions. Your truck can't tell the difference between these two scenarios, and it might still crumple all the same. And here's a better view of the truck and the business right here. To me, that still looks like it went in frontwards. It does not look like it went backwards. That's what I think with the baseball bat being gone. He lied to get him there. There was not even going to be a baseball practice. He lied to get him there. And there was nobody else there, none of the players there yet or anything. His daddy lied to get him there. He was about to be testified against for doing the sexual things to his daughter. And the justice system is letting him get away with it. Grant was wearing shorts and a t-shirt. His father claims the truck dragged him down the parking lot into the ditch. The, the engine would have been burning after an hour drive. Plus, if that's true that it backed up, why was the truck in park? Somebody had to be behind the wheel, then put it in park. And that's what I think. After he tried to look at that as a scenario of Grant, then he put it in park and got out. And there has to be, with this being a busy road right there behind them, there had to be somebody seeing, passing by. Or that early in the morning, though, he could, traffic could have been low. This is the asphalt of that parking lot. No blood or other evidence of human flesh coming into contact with it was found. Grant's body had no abrasions, burns, or even scrapes. And you know dang well, even if you just fell on a gravel right there, you'll get some kind of laceration or scrape. Just a trip on this kind of gravel and stuff like that. But there was none. None whatsoever. Okay? Note the direction of the front tires. Grant's body was under the front, between the tires, with his feet towards the road. But his face was facing, the business. I bet he was looking like, why don't somebody help me? Or he had done been hit by the bat, the place where he was placed. And here is full view of the grassy area the truck supposedly crashed through. How was this ignored? Be sure to read Aaron allegedly fraudulently scrapped the truck months later. Okay, and here's the reports of laceration with skull fracture back there. And it was so significant of a hit that he had blood coming out of his ears and nose. So they said he initially died of a cardiac arrest. The truck, how Aaron tried to get rid of the smoking gun. And there's the truck when he tried to get rid of it. Looks like he tried to get rid of a lot of the evidence behind it, because there might have been, wow. But he drove it for a couple months and everything, and he never took it. He claimed that the truck was faulty, and yet he went ahead and drove it for months. What's very suspicious about that, y'all? So anyway, I wanted to bring this back into the equation since I had told would get to know had his story the other day, and I kept bringing up about the Grant Solomon and Gracie Solomon's case, and how the governor and state senator and some judges and all this are involved. Well, I showed the tickets behind it to prove about what had happened. I showed the tickets behind it. We got all the proof behind it, and y'all can try to give Freedom for Gracie, try to give her a lot of support. And her mother is also doing the one for Justice for Grant. So if you can, please support both of them because they're going to need our support going through all this. They basically probably feel like they're going through it alone since the justice system is not doing nothing. They failed. They did not protect. And it's kind of weird how on this one lawsuit that I was showing earlier about that was with the Brentwood Academy also, the 12-year-old repeatedly abused, and that same Judge Johnson, Deanna Johnson, and her husband, the state senator, Jack Johnson, are affiliated with this case as well. Surprise, surprise, okay? But they're both affiliated with this and everything. And anyway, they were told uh, a school teacher, let's see, it's knowledge of reasonable cause and all this. Roberts told Jane Doe that report this may not be the best thing to do. This isn't how Christian institutions handle this. So they're being reprimanded and saying that the parents do not need to be reporting these things. See, Deanna goes to the same church as Aaron, the father that essayed his daughter, Gracie, and the father that possibly murdered his son. They all attend that same church. Governor Bill Lee, Senator Jack Johnson, they're in a whole slew of things right here. But Roberts told Jane Doe because she's going like that to protect herself, and she's calling herself John Doe. I mean, her son John Doe and then they're saying reported this may not be the best thing to do. This is our Christian institution handle these things. Well, how do you handle these things? Sweep it under the rug, act like it never happened. You actually told Gracie that uh, the reason why we don't want you to be talking about this because it's going to ruin your reputation. Excuse me, how about ruining the reputation of all the people infected that just goes like this and keeps letting it happen? What about y'all's reputation? Every one of y'all is liable for all these rapes and you're sweeping it up under the rug. This is supposed to, like this says right here in this section right here, and thanks to the newstennessee.com, notwithstanding 375107 or 371612 or any other law to the contrary, if a school teacher, school official, or any other school personnel has knowledge or reasonable cause to suspect that a child who attends such school may be a victim of child abuse, or child sexual abuse sufficient to require reporting pursuant to this section, and that the abuse occurred on school grounds or while the school was under the supervision or care of the school, then the principal or other person designated by the school shall verbally notify the parent or legal guardian of the child that a report pursuant to this section has been made and shall provide other information relevant to the future well-being of the child while under supervision or care of the school. The verbal notice shall be made in coordination with the Department of Child Services to the parent or legal guardian within 24 hours from the time the school teacher, school official, or other school personnel reports the abuse to the Department of Children's Services. Judge or law enforcement provided that in no event may the notice be later than 24 hours from the time the report was made. The notice shall not be given to any parent or legal guardian if there is reasonable cause to believe that the parent or legal guardian may be the perpetrator or in any way responsible for the child abuse or child sexual abuse. And remember how I said the other thing as well, where Jack Johnson and the governor is trying to make it where there's no way possible that people can go ahead and they want to cut out child protective advocacy. They want to cut it out. They want to put it as law that nobody, basically, we cannot be advocating for child abuse. We cannot be advocating against it. Y'all, there's a big problem. Big, major problem trying to get rid of child advocacy centers and stuff like that to protect children. Like the day you didn't talk about it. Teachers, church, everyone just shamed you. Yeah, that's how they do. They pretty much shame you, and yet they're the known perpetrators and all this other crap. They should be ashamed of yourself for their actions. And it's not a kid's fault. It's their faults and their responsibilities. Y'all know me. I get a lot of hot and heavy when I go over this stuff. I want to thank y'all for coming and lots of thoughts and prayers. And if y'all can, please go give them the support they need. They truly deserve support. You can find their names exactly like Freedom for Gracie. It's over here at YouTube, and also Justice for Grant here at YouTube also. So please go and support them. Show them love. Show them we're there for them. All right. Well, thank you all. God bless y'all.